Bruce Bales, where are you, Bruce?
I'm just going to tell you a quick story about how I got in so much trouble, and maybe while I'm here you guys can explain what I did wrong, because I'm really not sure. So anyway, my wife Lisa, if you know her at all, you know that she loves to go shopping. There's this high-end shopping center that we could go out and we could spend hours and hours wandering around. And maybe one day I kind of sort of on purpose accidentally got separated from her. And she probably didn't even notice for quite a while, but eventually she calls me and she says, "Where are you?" Well, I'm in trouble already. Try to calm her down. It's like, okay, all right. You know that jewelry store that we went in not long after we got married that had that beautiful diamond necklace in it that I said, well, I couldn't afford, but I'd get for you someday? And she's like, yeah, I know that one. And I said, I'm in the bar right next to it.
Diminishing ride home, I think, after that. Alicia Faye. Alicia.
Well, clearly Arizona Lou did a pretty good job recruiting at our table this morning. The stories of the family out of the way here. So I'm going to tell you a little joke. And first I just want to say it's so much fun being here. I love this campus. So thank you to all of everyone who put this together. In these dorms, it's totally reminiscent to me of college. It's just like going back to Christian University good times. So I'm going to tell you a joke about a Christian school, a little boy at a Christian school. So, this little boy is in the school's cafeteria. He's walking around, standing with a big bowl of fruit. One of the teachers comes by and she looks at him and she says, "Okay, Johnny, just take one apple. God is watching." He kind of looks scared for a minute and he looks at the apples and he's feeling a little disappointed, but suddenly this light comes on in his head. He has this big grin on his face, obediently takes one little apple and runs away quickly. So the teacher is walking away thinking, what a great teaching moment that was. I got to share with this little boy this image of God taking care of him, watching out for him. So she keeps going, getting her lunch. A few minutes later, she walks by the dessert table. She sees this little note scrawled out in children's handwriting. It says, "Take all the cookies you want. God is watching the apples."
Thanks, Alicia. Okay, we've got a trio of artisans coming up. I'm going to start with Ruth first. Yay, Ruth.
Well, what?
So I'm David, and this is Mom, and you might have noticed that we're not exactly from around here. It's the eye color, definitely. And so she was from the Dominican Republic, and she moved here when she was 7, and so she didn't really understand idioms. And so I'd get like, oh, you still don't, but if I ever got something wrong in a test, she'd say something like, "That's the way the pebble rolls." The pebble rolls, and then the ball bounces, and I'm like, oh! And so she kept getting confused.
And I guess that was him telling his part. And weren't you going to do a knock-knock joke? No. Okay. No. So can I talk now?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess he might have told me about that, but I don't know. Okay, so obviously, Mr. Lewis recruited our table heavily. My son up there. But, okay, so one of my nephew's wives, or I guess the only nephew that I have, said that I should tell this story, which again is about idioms, which I never really even to this day, quite got right. But I'm learning, and that's the good news. But when I first came to Indiana, having been raised in Massachusetts, there's a whole realm of differences in idioms. But when I come to Indiana, there's a big farming understanding in Indiana. And one time, it was shortly after I was married, my husband and I, on a Sunday afternoon, had nothing better to do. So we decided to go to Montgomery Ward, which was an appliance store, and we decided to just look around until sometime before church. And we're just looking around, and I saw, you know how you can tell the salespeople, you know, they're just dressed nicely and they're on the eagle eye lookout. And so I saw him coming toward us, and I said, Larry, we better get out of here. I see that there's a salesman coming. And he says, no, it'll be all right. And he comes over, he goes, hi, folks, looking for a freezer today? And he said, no, we're just looking. He said, today's lookers are tomorrow's buyers. And he took the freezer and he went like this. And I thought, great, we have a very enthusiastic salesperson on our backs. And I said, well, we're just looking. He says, well, these freezers, would you believe that these freezers can hold all kinds of food? And I was like, no, yeah, it just looks like a freezer. And he says, well, why, it doesn't look like much, but this freezer will hold half a beef. Half a beef? Half a beef? You don't believe me, do you? I'm like, do you mean half of a cow? And he says, yeah. I'm like, yeah, right. He said, you don't believe me, do you? And I said, no, and who would do that? And he says, why, a lot of people do that. I said, what? I said, I don't believe it. Half of a cow would not fit in that box. And he says, yes, it would. Why, my mother has it. She does? And he said, yeah, my mother has half a beef in a freezer very much like this. And I'm like, are you kidding? And I said, she put it in there and she told you about it, her son? And he says, why, oh, I'm sorry, are you a vegetarian? I said, no, I don't think because you know this will hold a lot of vegetables too. And I said, I think. And he said, well, you just didn't seem very excited about the half a beef. It's like, look, mister, I know you want to sell this freezer, but you're not going to make me believe that half of a cow fits in that freezer. He says, it does. And I said, oh yeah, right. Well, what half fits? Is it, do you cut it this way, or do you cut it wrong way? Where's the head? I just don't think it. And Larry, at this point, he's like, Ruth, we gotta go. And I'm saying, oh, honestly, this man was looking at me, and all of a sudden, a little smile kind of starts tickling him over there, and his little lip goes like this. And I said, see, you're laughing. You know it's not true. I mean, really, what did they do to you guys that you have to make these commissions? And he's going, he says, no, really, half a beef. I'm like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I said, meanwhile, Larry's saying, okay, thank you. And he's like, no, we gotta go. And I said, honestly, Larry, can you believe that man? Look at him. He's over there laughing. Of course he's laughing. He didn't get me. And he's like, Ruth, half a beef. It's half a beef. And I said, yeah, can you believe such a ridiculous story? He says, no, Ruth, half of a cow, they
you want to salvage your family's reputation? I've just been encouraged to tell a different story, but it's unexpected. I think I'll do that. Oh, can you hear me better now? Yeah. Just changed my mind on what I'm going to tell. First, I'll play a song for you. See if you recognize what it is. My wife and my son are going to hide their faces. As well as you. I have to do my instrument first. Okay. So you can tell me what song this is. She was from the Dominican Republic, moved to the East Coast, and you don't see a lot of farms over there like you do here in the Midwest. So it was something completely new to my wife when we met at college in Greenville, and as soon as you go up outside of that tiny little town, you're out in the country. So when we would take a drive someplace, we would instantly be in the country, and my wife would say, look, out there in the field. And I would say, what? She said, those animals. They're moose. Yeah, those are cows. And she would say, shouldn't we tell somebody? And I said, no, that's pasture. They're grazing. Or like, look, sheep. Those are cows. And those are horses. And it's okay. It's fine. But anyway, after a few years, Ruth kind of got used to the country life a little bit. And when she was pregnant with our first daughter, Elise, her younger sister, Megalis, came to visit and help out. And Megalis had the same kind of mindset. And Ruth had later confessed to me that the first time she ever saw a cow was at Benson's Wild Animal Farm, someplace in Texas, where they had a real live cow for people to see. So anyway, her sister Megalis came to stay with us, and I like camping. It's okay with camping. And I think after our first camping trip, she called her family back in Massachusetts, her mother, and was telling her about her camping trip. And her mother was quizzing her about it. So, what, you had a fire, you lived in a tent, and you had to cook food over a stove or a fire. What did you do? So Ruth was telling her all about it. And her mom said, I came to the United States from a third world country. Why would you try to live like that? Well, her daughter Megalis came to stay with us for a few weeks. I'm sorry, her sister Megalis came to stay with us for a few weeks until Elise was born. And my parents were going to meet them at a campground on the north side of town. So we drove out, Ruth and I, and her sister Megalis in the back seat. And we came to the campground, and I realized that I had no idea what campsite my parents were on, but I knew I'd recognize their camper, so we just started driving around slowly. And Megalis had never been in a campground before, so she was wide-eyed looking around, and she said, how are we going to find them? And I said, we'll just drive around until we recognize their camper someplace. We'll see them. And I recognized the camper. Their vehicle was gone, so they'd gone to get something. And I figured, no big deal, we'll just sit out here until I get here. The camper was set up, the awning was out, lawn chairs were there. So we pulled up on a very, very hot summer day, and I got out, and Megalis in the back seat said, what are you doing here? And I realized that she hadn't put it together that this was my parents' campsite. And I said, well, I have no clue where my parents are. I hope God forgives me for this. But I said, I have no clue where my parents are. And I suppose we could just stop and ask campers someplace. They're campers. We all understand one another. Maybe when these people come back, we'll ask them where my parents are, and they'll know. But she believed me. So I got out of the car and I got over to the saddle lawn chair. My daughter would not get out of the car. Ruth, 8, 9 months pregnant, got out with me, and my daughter said, "God, get back over here." He's like, "Oh my God, we're fine. They're campers. Everything's fine. We all understand each other." So I went inside the camper, opened the refrigerator, came out with some cans of pop. My daughter was out, hiding in the backseat of the car. I said, "How about over there?" I said, "My daughter, would you like a can of pop?" She said, "Where did you get it?" And I said, "I got it from the refrigerator in these people's camper here." And she said, "You stole it?" I said, "No, they're campers. It's okay." So eventually, Ruth kept prodding me. "That's not nice. Go tell her that this is your parents' camper and that she can come out." So I did. I went over and told my guys and then gave her a pop and everything.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Sharp Hankins. She's not here. Is Jennifer here? Look at that. Jeremy, Isaac, Scott.
She's really Jennifer. Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is Sherry is on the way. She finally got an airplane and she will be here. Well, Martin went to pick her up to the airport. They will be here in 2 hours, hopefully. And the bad news is I'm here to on the representation and I'm gonna sing. Listen, bad news for you. And I sing well, but it may sound bad. So be prepared. I appreciate you try to help me with your food, but we really didn't have too much time to prepare this better, so I'm going to try something. It is a song. I'm from Colombia, and my first language is Spanish, so it is a little comfortable for me to sing in Spanish. You let me know, please, if you can hear this. Can you? Okay, great. And I'm shaking. I'm sorry. I'll do my best. Niñita consentida, colgada del cielo, como un farolito que puso mi Dios, para que alumbraras las noches calladas de este pueblo viejo de mi corazón. And here, it's a Colombian song. It's called Old Town. Consentida, colgada del cielo, como un farolito que puso mi Dios, para que alumbraras las noches calladas de este pueblo viejo de mi
are getting tougher and tougher to follow here at this time. Great. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, now we're ready. Jeremy, and Isaac, and Scott, and Anthony.
That is all.
Okay. Well, me and my brother were watching. We're in. Guys, anything could happen. During World War II, that was my father's thing to do, but my brother warned me, and his brother, he was trying to get him. My brother was trying to get away from me by trying to get into the sewers. That's not all. I said, aha, it's impossible. You can't get this sewer because it smells bad. Well, my mother came and my father was there and trying to, as a free user, my father lives in South America and is Colombian, and also